Welcome to Fast Effect Double Speed Magic the Gathering. Here we have Heather on Maverick versus Matt on Aluren. We are still playing on the webcam events, on Discord, I should say, every single Wednesday and Friday for the rest of the year at least. Keeping these going. Of course, in-store play has returned as well, as you may have seen on the channel, including the large in-store events. The Open Series are back. Very exciting times. And here we have a Gilded Goose for Matt. Surprisingly legacy playable. I mean, it's a mana dork. It's got some limitations, but it's got some upsides. No shortage of those at this point. I mean, there's Birds of Paradise, Noble, and Ignoble, Hierarch. All of the traditional elves. I mean, it's a lot of options for mana dorks. This one works in Aluren thanks to the Cauldron Familiar coming back with the food. Previously, it had great synergy with Oko as well. But now, Euro comes out. Combo piece, secondary win condition, all around. Disheartening card when you're trying to turn guys sideways to make an honest living. That 3 to 6 life that he'll bring back without really any effort is pretty just pretty brutal. Of course, once he starts turning sideways, if he continues to do so, he will win the game, being a massive 6/6 threat. Knight of the Reliquary hoping to be larger. Another Euro. Oh, but no land drop. Not ideal for Matt. Aluren getting a new pickup in the Dungeons and Dragons set. The black zombie. I believe he's like a 3/3 for 3, but when he ETBs, he returns to your hand if you haven't finished a particular dungeon, and then also lets you venture into the dungeon, meaning that with Aluren, it'll just be a infinite kill. Well, not quite infinite. It does necessitate drawing a card, so you can't actually kill somebody from infinite life at that point. That may be a consideration at some point if that becomes a part of the meta. Decks that can just gain like infinite. But you will draw your entire deck as you're going, so even if you have anything that could possibly change the equation, you'll have all the tools you need. And also, you get a treasure each time you go through, so you'll have all the mana you need, plus all your stuff, all your cheaper stuff you're able to just cast. And Swords to Plowshares. It's going to need to take out something here. What's it going to be? It's a Cradle. Knight of the Reliquary is getting taken down. He's a major threat. I mean, the ability to get a bunch of Wastelands would have been a huge problem. The new Yavimaya, again, welcome in this deck. Turning all of your lands into potential crop rotatable cards with the Knight of the Reliquary. He needs to sacrifice a forest or a plains, and you can just make even things like your Gaia's Cradles into forests, meaning that everything can become a wasteland if need be, or a fetch land, and just rapidly build your graveyard or deny your opponent resources, as we're seeing here. Matt's going to be able to make a food. Ramunap Excavator allowing for the recursion of this wasteland, puts out an Ice Fang Codal, and that feels pretty bad here, given that it is not going to have Death Touch. 2 more swings for Matt as these recurring wastelands look like they're going to be doing their job. And that's another potential argument for the new build. It may be able to just be straight bug instead of straying into other colors, like white for the Imperial Recruiter, or Recruiter of the Guard, I should say, or red for Imperial Recruiter, though that hasn't been as popular lately. But a basics heavy build could be in the future for Aluren. It's going to be fun to see. It'd essentially just be blue-black. Or blue-green, I should say. With a slight black splash in all likelihood. There's a lot of different Simic combo decks. I actually like the Ominous Seas one. I haven't got to play it yet with Greater Good. That seems hilarious. But I have not seen it on the stream yet either. Just so many new decks now with Modern Horizons 2 coming out. On top of it, that's going to take a while to digest. I don't really feel like we fully digested Modern Horizons 1. We did get some cards banned. So there's that. We clearly identified some good cards, but it's just a question of what were the best decks with those cards. I have no idea. Couldn't tell you what the best Astrolabe deck was. Couldn't tell you what the best Ren and 6 deck was. I have some that I think were better than others, but in terms of a clear best deck abusing those cards, I don't think we really got there, which is a little bit of a shame. I do like that aspect of Magic of really coming up with like the pinnacle, that top apex predator, just like the best deck, and then that justifying it being banned. I feel a little bit better about that. But ultimately, not in charge of those decisions as a player. My job to just show up and win when I'm talking about tournaments. And we're going to have so many tournaments. Every Saturday now we're doing stuff. Just loaded up with events. Very exciting. We got weekly Commander events started back in store as well. So it's all really getting back to normal. With actually the added bonus of having the online play as well, which you can take part in. I am hopeful that the online events will also tick up a bit with the players coming back in store. So, for example, some of the people that play on the weekends in our open series, I've noticed them hopping in even though they're not super far away, but choosing to play from home. Birds of Paradise. And we do have players from all over the world, which is awesome. Australia, England, Germany, all over the United States, Sweden. Wasteland could be good again, Heather. Checking to see. She's got the Birds of Paradise. Matt's going to likely skew entirely toward basic lands if he can here. Gilded Goose. And that gets Swords to Plowshares, the old Bolt to the Bird. And a Plague Engineer. Interesting. I'm not actually sure what the best thing to name is here versus Aluren. There's the Cavern Harpy for the kill. There's also Ice Fang Codal, possibly Baleful Strix. I don't think that's actually in this list. I think it might just be Bant. Now that I'm thinking about it. Bant with a slight splash for the Cauldron Familiar. Mother of Runes is going to cause some problems. She merits a Brainstorm in response. This food not really ideal. Force of Will stopping the mom. Yeah, if that thing made treasures, it'd be a very different situation. Instead, right now, just at 3 mana. More basics and perhaps a Euro. It is. Gain some life. He goes away though, no 4th land, so Euro not coming back immediately. Matt may be able to top deck a land to make that happen. He's a lot to fight through if you're trying to play a fair game. Three damage comes in, but that can be easily undone by escaping on Matt's turn. Mother of Runes eats another Force of Will. He's got to have something in his hand if he doesn't have lands. And it looks like it's counter magic. A Ponder digs. It is not what he is looking for. See if the top of the deck cooperates here. Oh, and it does not. Stuck with just the Brainstorm. There's the 4th land, so Euro can escape, which is generally just going to be worthwhile, even if Heather has an answer, like a Swords to Plowshares. You're still fine with that. You're gaining 9 life. Selecting which cards he wants to go, and Euro draws a card, no land drop, but Sylvan Library, that's a dangerous card. I think you just swing with Euro here. You can get the life gain, clear the Plague Engineer. Unless you have an answer to Plague Engineer, what else are you going to be doing with them? Got the life gain, the land drop, and the trade. And he'll be able to come back pretty soon. Ooh, there's the Aluren and Recruiter of the Guard. And this is going to do it unless Heather has some type of interaction. She's got a Knight of Autumn to blow up the Aluren. Matt's able to Brainstorm in response. He's going to need another creature at instant speed, perhaps. Got a Baron. Oh, interesting. So it looks like Heather let the trigger go on the stack, and Baron was able to return the the Recruiter of the Guard to Matt's hand. I think you actually want to be responding to casting the spell. I believe that's what we just saw there. An important distinction. And Baron, the one card in the deck that could really punish that. And we will see how Aluren improves over the next few weeks with this new set coming out.